So much for joining us here on JoyNews Prime. Let's begin from the political front because tension is escalating within the NPP as flag bearer hopeful Brian Agyapong's camp has threatened to bring the party's presidential primaries in the northern region to a standstill. The campaign team accuses some regional and constituency executives of intimidating polling station officers and coercing delegates to back former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, speaking at a press conference in Tamale, the team's head of operations, Alhaji Baba Al-Hassan, said they have audio evidence of delegates being pressured, warning that the credibility of the process is at risk. There's more in the following report.
Dr. Brian Agyapong is one of the candidates vying for the New Patriotic Party flag bearership positions with elections on January 31st. He was in the northern region some weeks ago canvassing for support. Addressing a press conference in Tamale, the head of operations, Baba Al-Hassan, said they believe the massive support he enjoyed is the reason why delegates are being intimidated and warned that they would not watch on whilst this happened.
That if they don't declare their support for that particular candidate, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that they will make sure that they would delete their names from the album. That is what they are telling the electoral area coordinators and some of the polling station executives. And we are telling them that, look, no one can delete your name from the album because we all voted for MPP and our forefathers were there when the party was being formed. So no one can intimidate anyone in the party. The party belongs to all of us and not a particular section of people. We have the audio recordings. We were in Savannah region when the call started dropping. Even when they went to Zabzugu, they tried same and then it didn't work. And we are assuring them that no one can intimidate them. If they claim that Northern region is their stronghold, why are you now threatening people that if they don't vote for your candidate, you remove their names from the album? It's not fair. So we want a fair level ground so that people will know who owns Northern region. Northern region is not for anybody. Northern region is a level playing ground for all the aspirants to come and campaign. But if you are going to use that Machiavellian tactics, we let them know that even if they want, on election day, we can boycott the election. It won't happen. It can never be held in Northern region. We have that capacity.
He urged the Regional Council of Elders to intervene in the matter.
We are only telling the Council of Elders to call those people involved to order so that at the end of the contest, whoever wins, it will be easy for us to smoke the same peace pipe.
Additional candidates have raised similar concerns, openly questioning the credibility of the disciplinary process. Kennedy Agyapong's team says the current dispute resolution process does not inspire confidence. Kobi Amwa is a member of Kennedy Agyapong's campaign team. He spoke earlier on the polls.
Yes, there's a process that has to be followed. We have to follow the process. Are we confident in the process?
You're not confident in the process?
I mean, I've given an example of how that process has been followed, and especially getting close to the election. The election is in 2 weeks. And you see, when law or order or society or some of these issues, there's a breakdown when people believe that nothing happens in the end, when there's no result, when you go through a process. If there had been decisions on such issues, to me, Abronya has made worse comments on different issues. If there had been such decisions and such clear weapon and disciplinary action, people would have had confidence in the system.
However, the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, says the concerns raised by Brian Agyapong's camp will be addressed if they are channeled through the appropriate medium. On delays in sanctioning party executives who have made comments seen as threatening to delegates, he assured that the party will ensure justice is served.
So, yes, we would look at some of those particular matters, but the very important aspect is where the removal is happening and where the misinformation about how 31st was arrived was cured by the General Secretary. And the National Party has also taken steps to ensure that the validation process and exhibition process brings clarity and inclusion, where we allowed the presidential aspirants, representatives to be represented at the validation exercise across all the regions, which has never happened in the party's history.
Away from politics, the governor of the Bank of Ghana has absolved the central bank from blame over the $12 million payment for the botched Palugu Dam project. The $404.7 million project, scheduled to begin in 2020, was intended to construct a multi-purpose dam that could also store excess water from the Bagri Dam spillage to curb perennial flood in the northern region. The project has since stalled after the initial $12 million, described as a mobilization advance to the contractor, was released. The matter arose during a Public Accounts Committee hearing, and James Abeji was there. He filed this report.
The matter of the $12 million payment for the botched Palugu Dam came up strongly at the Public Accounts Committee hearing, where members sought clarification on how the money could be retrieved from the contractor since no work has been done. But Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Esiama, said although the BOG made a payment, it was on the instruction of the Controller and Accountant General, and they must be held responsible.
Borders on issues about value for money. That doesn't sit with us. As I explained, we go by the documentation. We are a banker, for government. If this was a loan from Bank of Ghana, certainly we will take over that oversight role. This was a Government of Ghana project. We cannot speak on that.
Answering questions on losses made under the Gold for Oil and Gold for Reserve programs, the governor said the G4O, for instance, made 2.2 billion Ghana cedis loss from 2022 to 2024, while the Gold for Reserve recorded over 5.6 billion cedis loss in 2023 and 2024. But they have decided to terminate and audit the Gold for Oil program.
There were quite too many issues under the Gold for Oil that we needed to unearth. And therefore, the board authorized an external audit. We got PPA approval for the audit just about 2 months ago. The external auditors have already been authorized, as I mentioned, by the Bank of Ghana board. The Gold for Oil is being audited. The Gold for Reserves will also be audited. When that exercise is over, we are happy to sit with you to look at where there were infractions or not and what to do with it.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, on the other hand, told the committee that they are currently on the heels of close to 10 offshore oil companies who have refused to pay surface rental fees amounting to over $2 million. Anthony Sapon is Commissioner General of the GRA.
Collaboration with Petroleum Commission and GNPC, since these institutions are the first point of call, and they also grant some level of licenses to ensure that entities that are not fulfilling their obligations in this matter do not get the necessary permits until they do so. The other one relating on the matter of force majeure, although we have imposed the penalties, the recovery has not been completed.
Addressing the University of Ghana 2026 academic fees saga, Deputy Education Minister Clement Apak said the matter has been successfully mitigated, assuring that the ministry will make sure every single cedi overcharged from students will be refunded.
Rightly so. Any student who made payments above and beyond what we have just communicated to the public and to the university through GTech would get a refund, so they can be rest assured. But should students notice, probably by the end of this week, going towards the end of next week, that no such reversals have been done or no such credits have reflected on their records, they should let us know, and then we would alert GTech to crack the whip.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, although advertised, has not been able to appear before the committee. The committee will resume on the second and final day of this first sitting in 2026 on Tuesday, and ministries including transport, energy, agri and others are expected to attend on the committee. I am James Abeji from Parliament House, Accra.
Let's now shift our attention to security because the Ghana Police Service has arrested a suspect for allegedly using social media to lure and deceive individuals in an attempt to compromise the ongoing police recruitment exercise. Interior Minister Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak said the police acted swiftly after detecting the activity, tracked the suspect and effected the arrest. More than 29,000 applicants are expected to undergo the screening process in the Greater Accra region. My colleague Fatal Baiga has more in the following report.
More than 29,000 applicants who are seeking to enter the Ghana Police Service have begun their screening process. Minister in charge of the Interior, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, has visited about 3 of the centers where he's been interacting with some of the applicants and assuring them of government's commitment to ensuring that the right individuals are given the opportunity to serve in the Ghana Police Service. He spoke about the fact that an individual who tried to compromise with the system was arrested and would be put before court.
One person, at least for now, because we are watching with eagle eye, and believe me, we are using all the resources available to us: National Signal Bureau, NIB, CID, PID. We are using all, and we are watching with eagle eye online what people are doing. So you try it, we immediately go in and zero on you and grab you.
Will he be put before court?
Yes, obviously, because the person is being processed. I want to believe that today, tomorrow, the person will be put before the court.
The minister also spoke about the fact that protocol will not be allowed this year, as the government is trying to ensure that right persons are given the opportunity to serve in the service.
And then this idea that, oh, I can give it to somebody and that, please, if someone has collected your thing, tell them they're going to give it to Minister of Interior, please forget it. You go through the process. This usual thing where people sit in the comfort of their home, they won't buy form, they won't do anything, and then they say, oh, protocol, and then we send them. It's a thing of the past. That one, and the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I have his firm support that we won't do that.
Some of the applicants who went through the process today expressed satisfaction with the exercise and recommended that the current approach should be adopted in subsequent recruitments.
Initially, we all know the tragedy that happened with the military one. So initially I was kind of skeptical about how the whole thing is going to be. So when I got here, I realized, things were moving so fast as I was expected.
I'll say the process was okay. Everything went very smoothly. I think it was well organized. We were provided with seats and we were given some water and snacks also.
It was really calm. Yeah.
So you didn't struggle to go through?
No, we didn't struggle at all.
I would describe this process as one of the best process so far. Even give us drink, water, snack. They made us feel so okay, so welcome to be part of them. Yeah.
For Joy News, Fatal Baiga, Police Training School, Accra.
Let's head now to the Ashanti region, where the Ashanti Regional Command of the Ghana Police Service has urged unqualified applicants to avoid the ongoing recruitment screening at the Police Training School in Patase, which targets medical professionals, degree and HND holders, as well as skilled workers. The exercise, which began today, has been smooth, with about 2,000 applicants already screened. Correspondent Joseph Obeng has more in the following report.
Ashanti Regional PRO of the police, DSP Godwin Ahianyo, says about 2,000 personnel have so far been screened. The first phase of the exercise will end on Wednesday, for the next phase to take off with the WASI holders. Speaking to Adom News, Mr. Ahianyo said with measures put in place, there would not be crowding of personnel at the various centers.
Today, enlistment process taking place at the Regional Police Training School, Patase, is solely for those who are qualified to come for the body selection with regard to HND, medical professionals, and those with degrees. To be done today, tomorrow, and then the mock up will be on Wednesday. So it's in 2 sections. In the morning, it's 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. They are doing 2,000 in the morning. And then the afternoon section, they're also doing 2,000 for the degrees and the other professionals up to Wednesday. Then come Thursday, we are doing extra 4 centers. That is the Westco area, the Kumasi Sports Stadium, the hockey pitch. We have the Kumasi Jubilee Park, the Patre Bus Terminal, as well as the training school. We are doing only WASI selection process.
The police PRO described the first day of the exercise as smooth.
So if you are listening to me, wherever you are scheduled to go to, be it West School, Shepherd Trebas Terminal, Police Training School, make yourself available to that center. Do not come to depot once you know you have to go to West School, and you come and you'll be frustrated. And probably go and sit on radio and say the police enlistment process is not going well. You can attest to the fact that the exercise is being smooth and everything is going on successfully.
Joseph Obin's report, read to you.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We have more after this break. Please stay.
Welcome back from the break to other stories now.
Well, one person has died, with scores of passengers sustaining various degrees of injury following a head-on collision between two commercial vehicles at Ejisokrapa along the Kumasi-Accra Highway. The driver of a blue Toyota Hiace bus with registration number AS3553-20 is reported to have failed its brakes while descending a hill on the road at a top speed. The bus, which lost control, veered off its lane and rammed into an oncoming Ford bus carrying passengers from Kumasi to the Ejisu township. Emmanuel Bright Koku reports.
The passengers, numbering over 30 on board the vehicles, reportedly suffered varying injuries and were rushed to the Living Waters Hospital in the area. Here are some eyewitnesses.
Boom, not turning in Basi. You are one who your cars were. One say who's a car be free. I just saw over. To Obana with this shop, I say like speed now, but less car, blue car. Free, I just saw I say speed now, but I'm not day. Till Boram Punu car day. A tool, till a pillow. There's any palm of paper. Really packet to pass in the new idea, any pipe paper, whoop, school for by school, and they said I know, but in the accident today, we be to see. But more more castle, dear. A word you so be, but my back could be a no holiday, pay another some idea. So they say, and says, we'll be good, you need to ask them.
Health officers at the facility confirmed 11 persons are currently undergoing surgery, with the remaining fairly stable with multiple lacerations. One person, believed to be a septuagenarian, however, died at the hospital. Two students who were on their way to school were also caught up in the accident. Dr. Gabriel Sechikofi is the medical director of Living Waters Hospital.
In fact, we happen to have received about 31 accident clients, in which we seem to have realized that it was such a fatal accident, and unfortunately for us, we lost one, and may his soul rest in peace. That happens to be an old man, and we did as much as we could, but we couldn't resuscitate him. The rest of the 30 are in stable conditions. A number of them have multiple lacerations, and we have 2 of them that we suspect some form of head injuries. The rest are quite stable. We realized that we had 2 that were students, one being a secondary school student who seems to be very stable and has been seen on the OPD basis.
Debris of the 2 mangled vehicles have been towed off the road to allow traffic flow on the stretch, but some eyewitnesses who spoke to JoyNews are pleading for the erection of a traffic light at the intersection. For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Still in the Ashanti region, the Incaria Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service is alarmed at the rate of motorbike and tricycle accidents in their jurisdiction. MTTD Commander ASP Jacoba Brew attributes the surge in figures to disregard for safety measures and road traffic regulations in the operation of such vehicles. The following report has more.
At least 40% of the country's road accidents involve motorcycles or tricycles, which have become a regular feature on the roads. Aside from private use, the Okada and Pragya are heavily patronized in commercial activities, phasing out regular taxis and minivans in some areas. Following concerns of safety, Parliament passed the Road Traffic Amendment Bill, expected to regulate activities of the operators. Ahead of the rollout, the police believe there is need for the operators to respect road regulations on speeding and responsible road usage. In Carrier MTTD Commander ASP Jacoba Biru believes reversing the road carnage is largely dependent on the riders of tricycles.
I plead with you to respect the police whenever you're on the road. It is relevant that you adhere to their commands on the road. It is for your best interest. Most of you disregard your authority on the road.
The MTTD has partnered the traditional authority at Mansutetun in the Ashanti region to roll out the first of a series of sensitization events for the commercial motorbike and tricycle operators. Speaking at the event, the chief of Mansutetun, Nana Akwesi Okon II, expressed worry at the motorcycle-related carnage recorded on the road. He expects the operators to unite in dealing with the threats to their operations.
Whatever is happening here is in your best interest. If they tell you to insure your tricycle and get the requisite license, it is in your best interest. You can decide not to do the right thing, but when you are involved in an accident, you will understand why you have to obey their authority.
For JoyNews, Nana Agyapong, Kumasi.
Well, away from that, the government has vowed to crack the whip on individuals who continue to possess illicit firearms after the gun amnesty period. The Interior Minister in December last year announced the initiative to provide every law-abiding Ghanaian in possession of an unregistered or illicit firearm the opportunity to surrender it without fear of interrogation, arrest, or prosecution. There's more in the following report.
In 2025, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons estimated that about 2.3 million small and light weapons were in circulation nationwide. Of these, 1.2 million were legally registered, while the remaining 1.1 million could not be accounted for. Again, there were over 1,000 reported cases of gun-related violence, including armed robbery, murder, and other fatal incidents in the first half of 2025. These prompted government to introduce the gun amnesty program, allowing the public to voluntarily surrender unregistered firearms between 1st December 2025 and 15th January 2026 without facing arrest or punishment. Speaking at a stakeholders' engagement with the Ghana Airports Company Limited and airport security agencies, the Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona, revealed that thousands of weapons have already been retrieved. He explained that at the end of the amnesty period, firearms will be regularized for individuals who qualify, while the rest will be destroyed.
Those that were brought so that they can be regularized, we'll take you through the process. If you are someone with good behavior, someone who the law says we can register for you, it will be registered for you after background checks and everything. But those ones that are brought in and cannot be registered, we are confiscated to the state and destroyed. And so the commission also has one of its mandates to destroy weapons, and therefore now we have the weapon sharer that mails weapons.
Dr. Bona also issued a strong warning to airport staff who connive with individuals to smuggle illicit firearms into the country.
This is a major transit point in and out of this country. Weapons will come in, weapons will go. Weapons are flying in domestically, weapons are flying in, internationally. And sometimes they try to hide them. Sometimes with the connivance of some ground staff. The president and my minister and deputy minister says I should tell you that if you are caught, the law is the law.
The Deputy Minister for the Interior, Ebenezer Oklete, tell RB says government is considering calls for an extension of the program. However, he stressed that the current deadline of 15 January remains in force.
I therefore want to use this platform to strongly encourage all persons in possession of illicit firearms to take advantage of the gun amnesty program. Surrounding such arms is not a sign of weakness. It is a responsibility that protects families, communities, and the nation at large. For those who may be eligible to regularize their firearms, this is the appropriate and lawful path to follow.
Joint security operations are expected to commence immediately after the amnesty period ends to crack down on individuals in possession of illegal firearms. For Joy News, I am Gemma Apia.
Away from that, let's do some other stories as we touch base with our correspondents in other regions. Residents of Nakpanduri in the northeast region are once again gripped by fear following the mysterious disappearance of a middle-aged man. The incident has heightened anxiety in a community already troubled by similar cases in recent years. Speaking to Joy News, the man's wife says the family has been living in sorrow and uncertainty. The following report has more.
The missing man, identified as Dokin Jenlari, was last seen on Saturday, June 3, 2026, after leaving his home in the evening. According to family members, he told his wife he was stepping out briefly, but never returned. His brother says repeated attempts to trace his movements have yielded no results.
No, we can't best tell what is happening. Today is 8 days when our brother moved. And we can't find him. We look everywhere, search everywhere. We don't know where he is.
His son says he's saddened by the disappearance of his father, a man he hoped to make proud through his life achievements.
Dad that I've always had for thinking that maybe growing up, be somebody I want to live my life to impress, and all of a sudden I wake up, even if I should see his body, or maybe waking up to see him in his room dead, crying, I'll be very happy because nobody is going to live forever in this world. But waking up every day, knowing that your dad is not around, he's not dead, you don't even know what you are thinking about. It's so sad.
He's, however, dissatisfied with the police's response so far and has appealed for intensified efforts to locate his father, dead or alive.
I'm losing hope on the police, but not losing hope to see my father. And this is not the first time this thing is happening in town here. I should be able to find my dad, even if it is the body. I should see the body of my dad and then bury him. I'm appealing to the government, whosoever that has the power, to do everything possible to make me find my dad. That's the appeal I have right now.
He added that although he fears the worst, especially given reports of unexplained disappearance in and around Nakpanduri, he remains hopeful of reuniting with his father.
Hopeful. Hopefully he will return. Yeah.
Since the king's disappearance, relatives and community members have been visiting the family home to express sympathy and offer prayers for his safe return. His wife, speaking emotionally, says the family has searched tirelessly, but without success. She says sleep has eluded her since her husband's disappearance, noting that she has spent her entire life with him and she passionately appealed for his safe return.
ni munta kaloma amia yimwana gwamna umungi somma kamangila mchambam wabashia.
Joy News has learned that this is the 8th recorded case of disappearance in Napanduri in recent years. In most cases, the victims were later found dead, often with body parts missing. Some residents say the recurring disappearances have disrupted daily life, with many now afraid to travel alone or stay out after dark. The Member of Parliament for the area, Abednego Bandim, has also joined calls for urgent and intensified security operations to locate the missing.
I am very much concerned, just as any other person on the streets of.
See, that's quite disturbing.
Indeed, and Ilya Tutanko filed that report. You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We're back with more. Please stay with us.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on JoyNews Prime.
To other stories now, Ghana's skies face possible disruption as the Ghana Air Traffic Safety Electronics Association signals an imminent withdrawal of services, citing persistent welfare and administrative lapses at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. In a strongly worded statement, the association warns it will suspend its critical operations if its long-standing concerns are not resolved by January 15, 2026. It accuses the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority management of years of stalled negotiations, broken promises, and what it describes as bad faith engagement, as a situation that they describe now reaches boiling and tipping point. On your screens now is a copy of that statement.
And it reads, according to the association, this action is in line with Section 159 and 160 of the Labour Act 2003, Act 651, which satisfies the statutory obligation to provide not less than 7 days prior notice before the commencement of any lawful strike action. The association has decided to escalate the dispute after years of unresolved concerns and failed negotiations with GCAA management on their welfare. Despite repeatedly engaging in dialogue, mediation, and arbitration in good faith, no meaningful outcomes have been achieved. The decision also is driven by management inconsistent positions, previously labeling the association as non-essential workers in 2016, but now claiming they are essential to support their current case before the National Labour Commission. Although the association suspended planned industrial action in October 2025, following a board directive and assurances of good faith engagement, management failed to demonstrate any commitment to resolving the issues. And here are their demands. A, issues presented to the board on the removal of Mr. Ebenezer Sego as the Director of Human Resources after he oversaw members recruited, placed as junior staff in 2012, repeated in 2014 and 2019. Despite the intervention of the Director General, the issue was repeated in 2022.
Have regarding salary distortion created under the supervision of the current Director of Human Resources. They go on to state that the Ghana Air Traffic Safety Electronics Association are also demanding the full implementation of one Dr. Imoro's report, which clearly outlines needed to restore industrial harmony.
Well, away from the patients seeking treatment at the Teshik Camp 2 clinic may be placing their health at risk as the facility struggles to operate without a dependable water supply. Health workers at the clinic say the worsening water crisis is severely undermining care delivery. They report frequent water outages that make it impossible to wash bed lines or linens as properly as it should be, and they warn that the situation is spreading infections and endangering already vulnerable patients. This report has more.
A deepening water crisis is taking a heavy toll on residents of Teshi, particularly in the Camp 2 area. At the local clinic, nurses say the absence of running water has transformed routine healthcare into a daily struggle, with deteriorating sanitation contributing to the spread of infections within the facility.
Infection, because with the bed sheets, washing it is a problem. So I say spread of infection is really becoming high here. Because we have to use water to wash the bedsheet before we can use it for another patient. But because we can't get water to wash the bedsheet, if the person lies on it and we see, oh, this one is not dirty, so let the other patient use it. Maybe you can't see it with your eyes that it's dirty, but it's really dirty. So infection is really a problem for us now.
To that, imagine wee-wee. Okay, somebody would have to use the washroom, and since there's no water to flush immediately, the next person will also have to do that until there's a pile up, and then we are able to flush. So there really is going to be an infection spread.
Health workers explain that the clinic frequently operates without water, making it impossible to wash bedspreads or disinfect washrooms after patient use. They say they are forced to buy sachet water with their own money just to provide basic care, a practice they warn cannot continue.
I had to go back home because I wanted to use the washroom, and then there was no water. And at that time too, there was no sachet water to buy. So I had to just rush, take a taxi, go back home, and then come back to the workplace.
Just imagine you having an antenatal or a mother who has delivered, and she really has to take her bath. You know, blood has a bit of a stench, so she will have to take a bath. So we really have to fill the buckets. Yeah.
So you see, from patient to patient, you have to wash your hands. But because there is no water, sometimes you are tempted to use the sanitizer to wash your hands. And then too much of it too is not really good. And then the sanitizer, I don't think it really helps a lot, because if you are doing invasive procedures and use sanitizer and then go to another patient, cross-infection. It's not really helping us, so they should do something about it for us.
We purchase water with our own pocket money, and we have to travel distances to fetch water. Sometimes 20 cedis a day for the gallons of water. So when you come to sachet, we spend like between 30 and 50 cedis.
The impact of the water shortage extends beyond the clinic. Food vendors in the community say the lack of water has forced many of them to halt operations, cutting off their primary source of income.
Oh, 5 months now, 2 papi me yedwani. It's in right call about the ya pay be ma me yedwani. Me yedwani. Ye di be kra ye nyebi edwani na me baby me nyebi enfa yedwani no me ba ne mo bedale akosku nti me si me ba ne kwa uniform ye nyebi yedwani ne pe ne ye fi osuton ene afaka akọ osuton ene akọ penso a me di be nu edwani nne na me be yo me tra ono iso na me di be dale kra no titwe bi pe na me di dwale ye na me ba ye na me be nu edwani na ehia me edwani kra me di be nu anu kra mpo enso edwani na me di be nu anu
ye hu nyina ahihye pure water na yeto na ye di dware majai me nya nso mfanto na aduane no nso ono abi na me di ne didi me ntumi nton na me nkoto aduane wa abontin nti ono ya na me di me ntumi mfa nso enye nton na yare nchimi na yare nchimi nua bia obeto aduane no nti na nsan aduane no mantumi aye bio.
Residents also describe daily hardships, long walks in search of water, escalating costs of sachet water, and growing fears of disease outbreaks as basic hygiene becomes increasingly difficult.
It's a very difficult situation for the people of Suchuno Electoral area, by extension, the whole of the municipality. Very precarious, very frustrating.
Well, we'll take a short breather. When we return, the Queen of Showbiz will be here.